This is Linda Carbonell from Life School 101. I am the co-host of the show, and I'm also the producer and the fairy godmother. Just so you know, just wanted to let you guys know that.
And hi, I'm Mary Adams, and I am the co-host of this Life School 101, and we're so excited to have you here today. We have an amazing guest, Maxine Taylor, first licensed astrologer, and she has been an amazing influence in my life. I'm so excited to have her back on the show. And today we're going to talk about transformational change. Maxine, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It is great to be here with you, Mary, and with you, Linda. It's been fun, and it's just been a marvelous experience and a golden opportunity for me to reach out to people I haven't met yet. Friends I don't know I have yet.
Maxine, I just want you to know that I haven't known you that long, but I consider you a dear friend now, too.
Oh, thank you. Me too, you. Everyone I talk with, everyone I read becomes a friend.
Yeah.
They all want to have lunch with me. It is just, it's so wonderful to keep creating friends. Wherever you go, friends after friends after friends. And it changes the planet. Because when you come from love, that's what you attract to you. And to have great friends like you guys, Mary.
Well, and it is wonderful. Maxine, I want to jump right into the nitty-gritty of this today because you have so much information to share with us on transformational change. So where I want to start out is you telling us a little bit about what you do with other people to help them transform and heal.
I would be delighted. As you know, I'm an astrologer, and I I wrote a book called Hidden Messages many years ago when I learned about parental programming, and I saw that it was indicated in the birth chart. For those people out there who study astrology, the sun is daddy, the moon is mommy. Saturn are the older relatives, the short and alter relatives, and Pluto is the matriarch in the family. So that's an oversimplified way of looking at it. I saw my own life and I realized there were things about me that needed changing. I didn't know at the time that the birth chart, is just the story of your movie for this lifetime. But I knew that I could help people release their programming. I was involved in a school that taught us how to do this. I grabbed that ball and I ran with it. Now what I do, as you know, my book, Move Into the Magic, describes my Move Into the Magic class, which has now evolved to Take Back Your Life. And that's where we're at today. I have a class that I have taught for decades, and it's called Take Back Your Life. In it, I help everybody in just a short period of time. I'm talking 2.5 to 3 hours. I can cover in that period of time what it often takes months and months to do in therapy or psychoanalysis by helping you see the messages that you bought. And I have a bottom line on the whole deal. As I look around the world and see people, I know that every one of us that I deal with anyway has bought the lie that they're bad. They did this when they were like 3 years old. And this bad message gave rise to the belief that we're not good enough. And this reflects in our bodies, in our minds, in our spirit. We understand it's physical, it's mental, it's emotional, and it's spiritual. And I have a technique for releasing that. It heals you of physical, mental, and emotional issues. But you have to work it. It's not a one-shot deal. But I give you all the tools you need for the rest of your life. And I offer this on my website. It's available there for you to look at. Lives have been transformed. And that's what I'm about. I have no patience. I don't know if you could tell. And so what I wanted to do was change me now. What I saw was sometimes it has to be done slowly because the transformation is so powerful. We detox from it. It can be a little too strong. So you get it on whatever level you're able to get it, but you have the technique forever. And this is my passion, helping people release their programming, change their story. Like Groundhog Day, the movie, Bill Murray realized that he could change the next day by seeing the mistakes he made today. I can help it. I can help people do that too. Linda, did you have a question, sweetheart?
I did. I mean, I really like that idea, especially when we're talking about changing our lives and how we can do that, transforming our lives. I was able to do that. I had a severe mental illness, and I had to, I don't know how I did it except for I prayed, and then I began opening my mind. So I think that's a lot of what you're talking about, being able to open your mind and realize that overcoming comfort zones can lead you down a good path. And that's what you're talking about, is overcoming that. So being able to step over it and, begin again. And it's so important that we have somebody like you to guide us to do things like that. And I just think it's a wonderful opportunity for the audience. I mean, I think it'd be great for anybody out there that's interested in this and interested in changing their lives, because it is possible. I did it, and there's a lot of people that have. So again, Maxine, I really value that class that you're going to be teaching, or that you are already teaching, right? Yeah.
I've been teaching it for about 35 years.
Wow.
I'm a Gemini. Remember, we don't look our age. We don't act our age.
Oh, yes. I'm a Scorpio.
And the my favorite.
See?
The transformation, to me, is what awakens our planet. It can happen like that if you're willing. And Mary, your life has been a series of transformations.
Well, absolutely. And we talk about this constantly, you and I, Maxine, about what creates that transformation globally. And it starts from within. It starts in really getting clear with our own authenticity, with our own beliefs about this world, with how we choose to move forward in the world, and getting rid of the unconscious layer that keeps us prisoner of our own actions or inaction. I mean, that's really the bottom line of what we're talking about here, is that when we come to that place of clarity, we are able to take that and move forward. And it doesn't mean that it necessarily feels good. It means that you take the step forward.
Well, you know what I found? Yes. What I found is that using my Take Back Your Life technique, when you literally see the belief and release it, that's the key point. And then you accept the truth. And I have my students rewrite their belief. There are categories that we use. And I'm going to share with you something I haven't shared on any other show. I would imagine that might be of interest to you.
Of course, always.
We start with the bad message and the not good enough message. And then I take everybody through the different people who trigger the messages, who have actually recorded those messages here and here. And it's in our bodies. We know, we can see what's wrong with us by looking at what doesn't work in our body. Now, I say that it's not always that easy to get to the bottom of it, but it starts with our mother. Obviously, the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. It falls on her shoulders. And the contract that we have with our mother, this is my own experience, if I can share this with you, very often is a very difficult one and a very unpleasant one. And when we realize that the greatest love of all is to incarnate as the person that we might hate or might be upset with, is truly the greatest love, but that there is a blessing, there's a gift in that. When I saw that the gift in my relationship with my mother was one of my advanced classes in Take Back Your Life, I instantly felt love for her and forgiveness. And that's the whole point. One of my dear friends said, forgiveness is life itself. And there's usually someone in our lives who we find it very, very difficult to forgive. We may forgive them intellectually. Oh, of course, I'm a spiritual being. I forgive her. No, you hate her. You can't. You like to push her off a bridge. So you get to that point and you see, well, this is never going to change. Ding dong, the witch isn't dead. And when you get to that point that you realize the gift that she gave you, oh my gosh, everything changes and you feel love. And that is when everything opens up for you. And you have to be ready to do that. And it took me, God, I won't say it was last Tuesday, but it was very recently. It was like last year that I saw that so clearly and was able to release it and feel incredible love for her. And I have been so busy helping people since then. It's like the floodgates open. So the secret to success, one of the secrets to success, is forgiving and seeing what that person gave you and knowing what you want. I saw what I wanted to do. I saw how I wanted to be. I grabbed hold of that rope and I said, what's keeping me from this? And the answer was instantaneous. You need to forgive your mother. You need to accept her as she is. There was no need to even do that. The minute I saw that, it was, I love you. And that rope has literally, I've hung on to it because it's moving 100 miles an hour. I can't keep up. Well, let me rephrase that. I am happy to learn how to keep up with the floodgates that have opened. And it's all about love. And we think we love. And maybe we do. I'm sure I did, as well as I was able. And maybe in another 5 years, I'll look back and say, boy, I thought was coming from love. Who was I kidding? I'm open, totally open to change, totally open to growing. And it's the growing and the stretching that keeps us alive. Because when we have finished what we came here to do, we leave. And I am not finished. So I forget the question you asked, but that was a very lengthy Gemini answer.
Well, that's okay, but I like this. And I'm not ready to leave. Mary, you had a question I'd like. Can you do that too, Mary? I'm not ready to leave.
I'm not ready to leave. Powerful, powerful. Oh my gosh, that is exactly where I wanted you to jump in, Maxine.
Okay.
And the truth is that this place of power, it's, and in every aspect of our life, it's about surrendering to the belief system, surrendering to the anger, surrendering to to whatever it is that is blocking you from believing that you are powerful, that you have control, that you have what it takes to create what it is that you want in this life. And it's a fine line. So I want you to take that next step and let's talk about what it feels like to surrender, because it's not always such an easy thing. Let's talk about that.
I'm going to use the word acceptance. What I found, now I saw this decades ago. I was a fighter, and I'm not going to fight with people. I'm not going to argue with them anymore. It's too exhausting. It creates inflammation in the body, autoimmune problems. I'm not going there anymore. But what I saw was, in myself, I'm my own guinea pig, that I was not accepting things as they were. I was in la la land a lot of the time. And what I saw was, as long as I did not see reality, which is painful, I was living in a fantasy. And I saw that we have a choice. We are either in fantasy where someday he will love me. Yeah, right. Or reality, which is he's been divorced 3 times. He has a 4th wife and 7 kids. There's no chance he's going to divorce the 4th one and marry me, or words to that effect. And then from there, we forget there's a 3rd level, and we go back instead to fantasy. Someday, no. The 3rd place is truth. The truth is there's a gift in seeing reality. It helps you see him as he is and get the hell out of Dodge and find the one you want. So accepting people keeps you, until you accept them as they are, you're locked in their story. They own your butt. They make the rules for your life. You have no control over yourself. When you accept them as they are, it doesn't mean you have to like them. Acceptance is forgiveness, actually for yourself. So if you accept the fact, this is a true story. True story. I got to tell a true story here. One of my students worked for a woman who was just horrible. And she said, pardon my language, she's a bitch. I said, you have not accepted her. Well, she's not lovely. I said, that's not the word you used. You used the biatch word. Accept her as she is. She did the acceptance. We're told, oh, you must be loving. No, you must be real. When she accepted the woman exactly as she is, problem solved. She was able to interact with her without expecting. She was angry because the woman wouldn't change. We're angry because our exes won't change. We're angry because the government won't do what we're angry. It ain't gonna happen. When you get that, then you can see you can move past it into the glorious you that you are. You quit wasting energy, and the one you have to forgive, the one you have to accept, forgive, accept, surrender to is yourself. It starts with you, because everyone in your life is mirroring you. It's a movie. It's a cosmic movie, and every person is a bit player showing you or what you need to do. And it's time for most of us to take a stand for ourselves. Linda, did you have a question, honey?
Well, I think I wanted to react a little bit to what you were talking about. I know we went from from fantasy to reality. And actually, I wanted to comment and said, with me, I was always stuck in reality. So it took me a while to create my fantasies. But I live for those fantasies that I create, like the fairy garden and, just creating a loving environment around me. And so I had to start with it being a fantasy and create it. It's like you create a fairy garden. You have an image in your mind. It's a fantasy of it. But there's a way to create it. And I think that's what you were talking about, too. And I know you were talking about acceptance of others and forgiving them, or just accepting them the way they are. And, I finally learned how to do that. I have a husband, and he's great. But what he does in his life is totally different than what I do. He stands for something different than I do. I live my life the way that I want to, and he lives his way the way he wants to. Like he does... he goes down for coffee every single morning and I don't, or, he does different things, whereas, and he's not as clean as I am either. So I just wanted to say that. But anyway, we get along. I mean, it's like we love each other so much that I don't care if he doesn't take a shower for a week, I tell him, I say, it might be time, or, he'll let me give him a haircut. This is how true love works. Because he let me give him a haircut the other day, and I started with the scissors, snip, snip. And I went to get the clippers, because I usually clean it up with the clippers. Well, I forgot to put the clip thing on top. Yeah, so it went zzz, and a big hole in the back of his head. And I said, oh, you're going to kill me. I said, oh, no, I couldn't do it. He looks at me, and he says, that's okay. It'll grow back. I mean, what can you expect, Plus, not only that, my husband puts up with me, too. And my little fantasy world where I have to go to bed with teddy bears every night. And he goes to bed with me with my teddy bears every night. And so I think the point that I was trying to get to is by accepting each one of us as individuals, like you were saying, They're not going to be, it's not something we can mold. We have to accept them the way they are, but create a life together. And that's what we've done. So thank you very much for that message, because that's what that reminded me of my story too. I appreciate that. What about you, Mary?
And Linda, something that I want to talk about here that really makes an incredible point is that the recreation period and bringing in recreation into that recreation, bringing that life of what you desire, bringing that fantasy world to reality, bringing those desires and dreams to a place of now. I mean, that's truly what you and I have done, and Maxine and I have done over the years, is we have taken that, oh my gosh, wouldn't it be awesome? And here we are right now having the conversation and creating it. And this is a dream and a fantasy come true as well. And so, Maxine, will you talk on that a little bit?
Yes. When we are at the brink of stepping forward into our, I'm not going to call it a fantasy, because fantasy is head up butt. Dream. Dream is what we want. Okay. And you illustrated, you had a dream, Linda, and you brought it into reality, not reality, truth. The truth is you can create it. So when people are at the brink, and this is something that I've observed over the decades, they're at the brink of either going out on a first date with somebody they really want to be with, or a job interview, or whatever, they self-sabotage. They will fall down a flight of steps. Their car won't start. It doesn't matter what it is. We're the creators of our life. And if something is in our life, it's because we want it. If it's not in our life, it's because we don't. That's what I say to myself. And so what I say to people at that point, they say, I was really excited about the job interview, and I woke up with the flu. We've all been there. I don't know about you, but I have to raise my hand and say, yes, it happened. What I teach my students is, okay, who is it? I'm talking about childhood. Who is it who doesn't want you to succeed? Who are you listening to? And because now when I say if it's in your life, you want it. If it's not in your life, you don't. That's pretty harsh. But you're the creator of your life. And I said to one of my students once, she said, well, I had this happen and I had that happen. And I said, well, who do you think wants that? She said, I don't know. I said, well, let's go to the bottom line. You think God hates you? No. Okay, well, who do you know from childhood who didn't want you to succeed? And it turns out it was her brother. And all you have to do is stop yourself and say, okay, I'm terrified. I'm terrified that the show won't go on. Well, create it your way. We're going to create it fun. We're going to be laughing the whole time. In other words, that bad message is going to rear its ugly head until it doesn't. And so when I do something now, I get very clear on the way I want it to go. If I'm doing it with a group, I can only get clear on my part. But I did, and I love having fun. And I've been having fun every time we've, videoed. It's been a riot. And what I keep in mind, I help people get their life's mission. If you know what your mission is, you're in the magic of living your mission, your ego will not be able to get in the way, nor will your Uncle Harry, your mother, your father, your brother, your sister. They may try in your own subconscious, but if you know my mission is to do such and such, you are going to do it no matter what. Mary?
That's living on purpose, living on what is your life purpose and living it purposefully, and that's about taking ownership and reminding yourself and remembering that you are in control. That's the biggest thing I run into when I'm working with clients, is we all simply forget. We forget we are powerful every moment of the day. And for some people it's every moment. For others, they have to, it's not so often, but most of us live in a society where we're constantly trying to steer to feel okay in our lives. And so let's touch on that a little bit. So tell us about getting rid of that residue and feeling better and being on purpose.
Yes. It takes practice. You're creating a new neural pathway, so to speak. Well, not so to speak. You're creating a conscious pathway you're either in your story or in the magic. When you're in the story, when your button gets punched, you need people who can help you get out of it. And this is where you come in, Mary, and Linda, you come in. And so what I'd love to invite everybody out there to do is, if what I'm saying speaks to you, if you want more of my time, go to my website, MaxineTaylor.com. You'll find there my special, I have a running special on an astrology reading, but you'll see it on the website. You'll want it because it's just the best deal going. You'll see my Take Back Your Life class. You'll see my Ask Maxine segment where you can have a FaceTime with me online. I am always wanting to connect with friends. Where have we been before? Where have we known each other? It is so delicious and so wonderful to reconnect. So remember, you are infinite, immortal, majestic, healthy spirit in an earthbound body. Let me help you reconnect with that.
This is my message for today. I learned so much today. I learned because I thought, people are bullies sometimes, or when you're younger or whatever. So I purposely went out and created a fairy garden so people could see that my wonderful dream is something beautiful. And I have people stopping by that garden daily, and I have this little box out there that has fairy stones in it, and I make a sign that says, take a stone, make a wish, and throw it in the red bucket, and the fairies will make it come true. And I got to tell you how many people stop and look at that. And the kids that come, their parents don't want to let them play in this fairy garden. I said, no, this fairy garden's for them. Let them play. You know what I mean? And so, Maxine and Mary, this is something that I'm learning that is my gift, along with producing this show and other shows. And I'm just so glad that you guys are taking me along for your ride with you so I can learn so much more. And to the audience, my message for you today is really take a look and pay attention. You've got some time now to go check out Maxine on her website. And you also got some time to check out Mary Adams, especially on Facebook. And you got a chance to check out me too. I'm up there too somewhere, I don't know. But yeah, we're going to see each other once a week, every week, and it's going to be airing on Sundays at 6 p.m. at CATV. And I want to give credit to Chico and everybody else here at CATV who's been doing a wonderful job getting this show up and going. And if you do have any questions for me or for Mary or for Maxine, please get in hold of us and let us know, and we'll do our best to get it solved for you. Anyway, this is Linda Carbonneau, and we are all saying goodbye for Life School 101.
My little girl, well, she means everything to